Hi guys, it's Jen, and I wanted to jump in here quickly and say congratulations to ACDDMC from Australia. You left a review on Apple Podcasts saying, I love listening to Jennifer Jeffries' Healthy Life Hacks. I have learned so much from these episodes and do love how much they've made me aware of things I hadn't noticed before. Keep them coming. So congratulations, ACDDMC. If you can reach out to me, that will be awesome. Go to podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au and we will book a time for you to be able to have your free consultation with me. So guys, remember, anyone who leaves a review on Apple Podcast, or if you're an Android user, you can't leave reviews, go to my website, healthylifehacks.com.au, and you can leave a review there for the Android users and you will go into the draw. So congratulations again, ACDDMC. Looking forward to chatting to you. See ya. Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jennifer Jeffries, the present day wise woman. I'm a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This show is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and rock your health and just live from a place of prevention, not waiting to get sick and tired and sucky. That's it. So let's get into today's episode. If you don't eat, you don't shit. If you don't shit, you die. They are what words that my father said to me right through my childhood. It amazes me that I went to college, studied for 5 years, spent a bucket load of money to learn that if you don't eat properly, you don't shit properly and you die. Ta-da! That's it. So that's what we're talking about here today in this episode. So let's jump straight into it. Now, in episode 4, I talked about bum glue. If you haven't listened to that yet, please go back and listen to it. That's really important. So episode 4 is all about bum glue, and that's about the impact of the refined and processed grains in our diet. So please go back and check that one out. In that one, I talked about how the fact that 70% of headaches originate in the large intestine, and bum glue, white bread, white rice, white pasta have an absolute direct impact on your body with that. The other thing that I also talked about in that episode is how with skin ailments, so whether it's a psoriasis or an eczema or a dermatitis, any of those things, that if toxins can't come out through your poos and pees, they come out of your skin. They do. So in the perfect world, this is what there's no perfect world, but I want to talk today about, well, the textbook way that your body should be able to eliminate. That's what we want to jump into. So here we go. Ready? In the textbook world, I'm not going to say perfect, in the textbook world, you eat, within a half an hour to an hour and a half later, you shit, you poop, whatever word you want to use. Think about if you've got kids or animals. You know, if you've got a baby, you feed them, they poop. You feed them, they poop. If you've got a cat or a dog, they feed, they poop, they feed, they poop. That's the way it's meant to be. But through life, it's like, you know, you're busy and you're out and you just think, oh, I can't go. I don't want to go to the public toilet, or it's just like, no, I'm going to hang on. What happens is we teach our body not to poop when it's meant to, and it starts causing us problems. Or you're eating too many refined and processed grains, you know, the white bread, the white rice, the white pasta, and it becomes literally too sticky to move on time. This is a really, really important thing. I can't believe my dad was so profound, but he really was. So let's start with what kind of happens. So when you eat, you chew the food. Ideally, you chew your food. Most people don't chew properly. Textbook, it's like 20 odd times, but just at least chew your food, guys. So you chew your food. As soon as you start chewing, it allows, or it tells anything that's left in your stomach to go down into your small intestine. Your small intestine is where you absorb all your water and fat soluble nutrients. Okay, so all your vitamins and minerals and fat soluble nutrients, like all the good fats like omega-3, 6s and 9s. And then what's in there gets triggered to go past the ileocecal valve. It's a little valve down there near your appendix. And what's in there is meant to start in the large intestine, is meant to start going out as waste. If your transition time is slow, whether it's that you've got a habit of hanging on, or you've been constipated for a while, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. When you're eating and all those little triggers aren't happening the way they're meant to, we start getting backed up. The main reasons that people are backed up, they're constipated, because if you're like, for real guys, if you're doing 2 to 3 meals a day, you should be pooping 2 to 3 times a day. That's what you should be doing. The biggest reasons that people don't poop the way they're meant to is lack of hydration. So your body can run water dry or oil dry. So 33 mil per kilo per day. But we also need to have the right oils in our diet. So the omega-3s, 6s, and 9s, which I'm talking about in a very soon future episode. I'll talk all about that. But we need to have the right hydration. That's huge. Another one is that people are sitting at the wrong angle, like a Westerner's toilet, sitting at kind of a right angle to the ground. There's no way your bum's in the right pooping position. It's just not. It's meant to be angled down. So whenever I do so much work up in Asia and right the way through Asia, squatting toilets are all the go. They just are. Squatting toilets are. And they're right, because they get our bum in the right angle for our body to be able to eliminate effectively. Now, we can't just get a squatting toilet here in Australia easily. But what I use is a pooping stool. Well, what I call a pooping stool. And Squatty Potty is the one that I've used for forever, since that company's been around. And what it is, it's a little stool that lifts my feet about 9 inches off the ground. You want about that size, guys. 9 inches off the ground. And my feet are up on that, which means my body then sits naturally on a regular toilet, but in a squatting position. And so my bum gets at the right angle. I sit. It's the truth. You can call it crap, you can call it poop, you can call it anything, but that's it. What should happen is we sit, we eliminate, we sit, we eliminate, nice and easy. So that's the physical kind of sides of it. But then there's also the other one that my dad used to say was, you'd get scared shitless. The things that my dad told me. Anyway, it's true. I went to college to learn about the fact that when we're stressed, we dump magnesium. Magnesium is a mineral that's needed for our large intestine to relax. Our large intestine is made of smooth muscle, same as our heart. Really important, guys. Never strain to poop, because when we do, we actually put a direct strain on our hearts. Never strain. So we need magnesium. And in a previous episode, I talked all about magnesium-rich foods. Important. But when we stress out, we dump our magnesium. And this is what sits behind things like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Classically, in episode 2, I talked about how we all hold our stress somewhere. Some people hold it in their large intestines. They internalize their stress, they dump their magnesium, and then they start living in this world of IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Me, I hold it in my nose, not my bum. Ta-da, that's it. Sorry, but it's real. What happens is with IBS, when a person is stressed, they literally hold their sphincter and don't poo. They don't. They're too stressed to poo. And it's not even big stresses that can tax us people. It's just like day to day, the kids going, mum, 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 one too many times. Just life can have people sitting in this edge of just stressed. What happens is they get in this, they're not pooping and they hang on. And then eventually when they do evacuate, it's compacted and they've been, it's been like constipation. But what sits behind it is what I call a punami. A punami is that really watery poo that sits behind. Now, and that's where the person thinks, well, I'm always constipated or I've got diarrhea. Well, it's because the stress is not right in the body. So as a naturopath, we always want to look what's happening behind. So we look at, in these cases with things like magnesium levels, we're looking at how the body is dealing with stress. So talking about adaptogen herbs to help the body to be able to deal with the stress. Don't just take a laxative to fix a constipation. That does nothing, guys. We want to work out what your body or how your body's dealing with life, and then we can work out what to do. So magnesium-rich foods are just a great place to start. Go back to the episode where I talk about that. Then maybe you want to bring in some adaptogen herbs. I talked about adaptogen herbs in episode 1. So they're the class of herbs that help our body to adapt to stress. I'll put a link in the show notes to the adaptogen herbs that I use. You can check it out if you want, no obligation. So our body has this kind of flow where everything that's meant to happen versus what really does happen. So it's interesting to kind of measure what your transition time is. So in the perfect world, textbook world, if I eat breakfast or when I eat breakfast, I should within the next hour and a half poop out half of my dinner from the night before and my lunch from the rest of my lunch from the day before. Okay. Lunchtime today, I eat, I should be pooping out the last part of my dinner from the night before and half my breakfast. Dinner time tonight, I should be pooping out the last bit of breakfast and my lunch today. That's the way it should be doing. We're always getting rid of a bit of the meal before and the last of the meal before that, if that makes sense. So that's what's meant to be happen. That's our transition time. Now you can test your transition time if you want. You've all eaten corn at some stage and thought, how did that end up in the bowl? It's like, how did that happen? It does. You can test your transition that way. Or beetroot. So eating beetroot, when you eat beetroot, you excrete red excrement. There you go. That's it. Red excrement. So that shows you your transition time. You know when you ate that meal. So corn and beetroot are a way that you can test that. What does the perfect poo look like? Really? So what does the perfect poo look like? Perfect poo is something kind of like a submarine. If you do, well, first off, it should hold together. It should be a good dark brown color. If you do a poo and it floats and you can't, like you got to break it up to try and get rid of it, that means you're not digesting fats properly. If you do it and it slams to the bottom and kind of splashes you on the way past, that's what I call a stinky sinky. Well, that means you're not digesting proteins properly. And I'm going to talk all about enzymes and everything in a future episode, a really soon one actually. It's meant to be like it's meant to hold together and meant to be like a submarine, that it just kind of, it's allowed to settle to the bottom but not slam on the way through. So that's kind of your textbook poo. If you're not doing that kind of poo, if you're doing really skinny poos, what I call pencil poos, you want to get some psyllium husks. I talked about that in the no bum glue episode, which was episode 4. And that's about, it makes a bulkier poo. It's not a laxative. It just makes a bulkier poo to be able to scratch all the old bum glue off the walls. So that's a way to do that. So if you do have a body that's maybe hasn't had the happiest transitioning of toxins out of your body, that's a nice way to put it. If you haven't been pooping properly, you might want to try some of these healthy life hacks because it's really important. I promise my dad was right when he said, if you don't eat, you don't shit, you die. I would just put that tweak that if you don't eat properly, you don't shit properly and you die. So today's 4 healthy life hacks are, number 1, stop eating bum glue. Stop feeding the problem. That's really important. Okay, so go and listen to episode 4 and check that out. That's really important. I'm not going to go over it in this one. Go back and check out episode 4. Healthy life hack number 2 is to bring more magnesium-rich foods into your diet. So things like pumpkin seeds and almonds and pecans and walnuts and the brown grains, so brown bread, brown rice, brown pasta, dark green vegetables, and organic blackstrap molasses. They're all really good food sources of magnesium. And then healthy life hack number 3 is you want to look at your hydration, both oil and water. So water, make sure you're getting your 33 mils per kilo per day. Really important, guys. And not icy cold water. That is a story for another podcast. I will talk all about the influence of room temp drinks and warm drinks versus ice. Ice is so bad for your health, but that's for another episode. We want to make sure that you're getting enough healthy oils. Okay, so cooking in things like coconut oil. I really like cooking in avocado oil, which I talked about in a previous episode, because it's got a high smoking point. Making sure you've got, whether it's your flax seeds as salad dressings or really good quality vegetable oils as your dressings, and bring them in, eating avocados and stuff. And then healthy life hack number 4 is to teach your body to poo properly, to sit and shit. I'm not being crude, guys. This is real. If you remember sit and shit, I'm happy. I do it things in a fun kind of way for your brain to always remember it. Same as bum glue. You remember that stuff. You want to teach your body to poo. If you have been in a habit of constipation, I really encourage you, or IBS, I really encourage you to check out getting a squatty potty. There's a link in the show notes. Go and check them out. For me, they're invaluable. Really, really important. And then not just get it, but if you've been in the habit of being, irritable bowel and constipated and stuff, think about taking not your phone to the toilet. Don't do it. Take something relaxing and fun, a book to sit and read. Again, my dad will kill me for saying this, but when I was a kid, when we'd eat dinner and then us kids would be washing up and we'd yell out to my dad, "How long are you going to be, Dad?" Because he'd be in the toilet and he'd go, "About 6 pages," because he'd be in there reading the evening paper. Seriously, as a practitioner, there's good value in that because you get to sit, relax, and just let go. That's what we need to do. So please, healthy life hack number 4 is to teach your body to poop properly. Really important. So I hope that gives a bit of interesting information about poops. It really is so important. It is vital to our health. If you want the show notes from this, where there'll be some interesting links, just go to my website, healthylifehacks.com.au, and you will be able to download them there. See you guys. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to share it with your friends and scroll down to the comment section, guys. It's below the description of the video, because click into the line that says add a public comment, add your comment, click the comment box, and every month I draw one lucky person who leaves a comment down below to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Also, be sure to subscribe to the show and like it so that you're always catching that next episode. If you'd like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below, join my newsletter, and you will get the free ebook sent to you nice and easy. So I welcome your emails. You can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, guys, remember that when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.